Hi guys, and welcome to Angling For You, and you join me on the beautiful banks of the Laurels pool on Drennan Lindome Lakes. And it's a lovely day for once. You can see in the background the sun is shining, there's a little light breeze, but it wouldn't be Lindome without a little light breeze, which means shallow fishing might be on. But today we are to look at something new, but also something that may split the room. Also something that's, I'd say, a widely used newer version of a roller, and I say split because they're expensive, and we'll come into that, but we're going to talk about the design, we're going to talk about the new design with the larger versions. This one in front of me is the smaller of the two, and it's the Rockin roller Daiwa rollers. Now you can see straight away it's as wide as a normal-ish dual roller. Now it has a central element in there which is really decent. It can move up and down. This, if we can flick it down, can come out, and you can move the central bar to wherever you need to go to slide that in, and you can have the divide wherever you want it, really. Or you can have it without it if you're not double shifting back, but most people nowadays are going to use a double roller and a double roll back. Now I say it splits because this normal standard roller is 175 quid, which is a lot. But if you're a regular matchman, he's probably not going to be breaking the bank. I mean, I've spent 200 quid on a landing net handle before, so really rollers are essential. You're looking after your pole. The other thing that may split them is the design, where these have obviously the rock and roll system. Now to explain that, you can see that the rollers move independent as well as roll. So there's 4 individual rollers on each line. 2 end rollers, middle roller if you want it in or not, and the actual bank of rollers is a double rather than a single unit. Most rollers you get are just one single unit, and obviously this is 2. Now why is that good? So the good thing is, if you're moving around or you're hitting at different angles, the rock and roll system will roll with you and allow you to bump into it and move it. Or if you're coming off, you can come off at a higher angle when you're pulling the pole up, if you need to lift it straight up. There's a lot of advantages to that. I don't see any disadvantages, if I'm honest, in regards to that system. Personally, Kel wants to keep them with with the sort of plastic on. I wouldn't. I couldn't cope with that. I'd need to have it off. But that's just, you know, my preference. In regards to the structure of the roller, I'm going to be careful because I don't want to drop back and have a comedy sketch and fall in. In regard to the structure of the roller, now we will zoom out a little bit, but it's very similar to the Matrix. It's like a hybrid, really, of the Matrix, and it has some other qualities of like the map rollers that I've had, and believe me, I've had some rollers, so I'm speaking from good experience here. So I'm lifting it up, so they have the button which ratchets this in place, which is very similar, well, if not exactly the same as what the Matrix has, which is, for me, one of the superior rollers out there, the Matrix. The other thing, which is like the map, is that if it's in its down position, which we'll do like so, if it's in its down position, it has these little fold out feet like so that can use it in really low quarters. So if you've got a sort of particularly odd angle and you need to roll flat, then you can do that. Let's just move it into a different situation so we can see it a little bit further back, and we can also have a look at the daddies, which are massive, which we've also got with us today, and we'll see what they look like. Right, so we're looking from a little bit further out now. You can see in its entirety. Height wise, it doesn't go obviously as high as the big boys. I'll put the legs out to the sort of maximum height. I tell you what, it has got a lovely galvanized sort of Teflon-y kind of feel to the legs, which means that they should be really durable, but it also means that they grip these little bull clips really well. Sorry, I've not done this good way and it falling into a pond. Yeah, and I do like that. It's not very even, this surface here, but you get an idea. And like, I'm 5'5" and well, it's up to my belly button roughly, so it's pretty decent, to be fair. Like, if I went to my Inception rollers, I think they'd be smaller, if I'm honest. That's as high as I'm ever going to need it. If you want to go on natural venues and things like that, you can get leg extensions, and obviously you can go for the bigger option, which is nearly this size in its smallest setting. So we'll have a little look at that. We'll jump over to the bigger ones. That's what you big matchmen are going to be using out of the two, I would think. Although these are really decent, and I know it's 175 quid, but I do feel that you are getting a product that benefits the feel, the look. I do think it is worth that money, but the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you feel it's not right for you, then it's not right for you. But it is a lot of money on a roller, and probably everyday match angler, are you going to get a benefit over this over a normal roller? No, not at all. The Inception rollers that I've got do everything that you need to do for this for half of the price, less than half the price. So I mean, it truly is up to that person that is paying the cash. If you want one of the best rollers on the market, then these are it. You know, the super beautiful bearings in there that make everything run smooth. You take this plastic off as well, and it's a nice neoprene material that's going to absolutely sort you out and look after your pole. So let's jump onto the big ones, see how much they cost, and then yeah, compare them to this one. Okay guys, so same standard of design from this angle. We'll come back in a minute and show you the difference in the underneath element that is obviously a little bit different. Same pattern, big rollers, these super wide. You're looking at probably close to 1 meter wide there. Obviously Kel's got this in the slightly more to the right position. They are 225 quid, which is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But like I say, if you are a matchman that is, you know, got a £5,000 pole and you're fishing a lot of matches, or you just got the money and you want the best. I mean, arguably this and the Reeve are better two. Reeve a bit more difficult to get the spares now, but Daiwa being a UK company, if anything goes wrong, you've got obviously that benefit and peace of mind that you can go pick one up as a part, second-hand part, or if it's in warranty, get it replaced. So looking at this now, Kel got two of these, so you know, best part 450 quid there just in these two. With the one at the side of it, you're looking over 600 quid for 3 rollers, which is a lot of dollar compared to my 3 Inceptions. It is, but you are getting the premium in premium. Obviously that rock and roll system again, and like we talked about, you can feed your pole into any angle, it'll move to help cushion the direction and the angle that it's coming off, and the ease, and when you're rolling it off the rollers, it'll roll with you. It stops as much of that jarring of the pole as possible when you're shipping back. As on the other one, the external rollers on the outside are tapered inwards, which feeds the pole naturally into the rollers, which is really good. Sometimes on the firmer ones that are stationary upright, you can get a bit of pole lock where it locks against the side. It'll still roll, but with these sort of angled on most new rollers, it feeds it into the middle, which is obviously beneficial when you're shipping back at speed or at length. Like I said, a movable central roller, which is great. You can move it around, which means you can compact areas. If you wanted just these and you wanted you're having a single roll back, you could have this amount of it open up to roll your pole back in one, and you could have this for your landing net if you wanted to, for example. Yeah, really good. Personally, I would buy that size just because these are too big for me. I don't know when I'd use them or need them to be this big. We're going to ship back and have a look at the difference in them, which is supporting legs, and it is a bit funky monkey, but actually a clever idea. So let's zoom back and have a little gander at that. Right boys, so now you can see the beast in its whole glory. Now the difference is quite obvious. It's these stabilising legs, and I'm not surprised it needs stabilising legs because it's absolutely massive. It probably wouldn't, but it is a very good idea from Daiwa. The only time when I see a fault in it, and it's not a fault really, is if where these won't really work is if you put that onto a hard surface. Anywhere on grass or anything like that is brilliant because obviously the spikes on the end, but I mean, it will still give you stability, of course it will, even if it's on an hard surface, but it won't grip anything because obviously it being hard surface. But I totally see why they've done it. They've done them opposite sides as well of the frame, so it gives it structure from both the outer and the inner side, depending on which way around you are. It's still got the same buttons for the ratchet, which is just a master stroke like Matrix. It's just so versatile. It's still got the additional fold out flaps on here, which fold out flaps, can I say that, on here to put it on the ground if you've got all your legs folded in. And height wise, I'm not going to do it because Kel's got it set up ready to fish, but they are substantially higher, and we're talking around here. So I mean, that's nipple height compared to belly button height, which the other one is. So it does offer a lot of range. You could get the other ones, and like I said, for me that one will do everything that I need it to do, or you could go down the bigger route if that's the way you want to go. If you're shuffling back £5 worth of pole, I can see why maybe you would want the bigger ones, or if you want to cover a bit more, yeah, that's a good point. So if you want to cover a bit more space, let's just say you've got 3 lines, you got one straight in front of you, you got one to your right, and you got one to your left. That angle of this and the size of it is going to be easier to find the roller when you hook a bigger fish and you want to ship back. You can ship back in a more variety of width of angle, which obviously does help you. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of involvement and instruction and a little bit of knowledge towards these behemoth rollers. In conclusion, do I think they're worth the money? Yes. If you have got the money or you are fishing the top flight, can it do everything? Can the other rollers do the same as this one and everything that you need? Absolutely can. What's my best value for money roller out there is the Matrix rollers. I think the Matrix rollers are the best, good price, not cheap, but better price, but not ridiculous for what they are rollers for the money. But these are the best rollers arguably that are out there. So hopefully this has given you a little bit of an insight. Thank you very much to Kelv as always to let me use it, mess about with his bits and bobs he likes to buy. If you want to join us on a Facebook group at Angling For You or on the Instagram at Angling_for You, please join across or look at the playlists on the Angling For You YouTube, which will give you a lot of variety for you to watch. Last thing before we go, they all come with cases, naturally, of course they will do. It's an expensive product, so it's going to have a case. So thank you very much for watching. If you could like, share and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Until the next one guys, thank you very much for watching. Tight lines.